to your logic that if you're saying that all nations can be blessed and it's talking about the other nations, the scripture doesn't say that the promises belong to the other nations. It says the promises belong to Israel. So when Yahweh said that to Abraham, those families of the earth, he's referring to the multitude of nations that the Lord blessed Israel with. That Israel is going to become a multitude of nations and a company of nations. One tribe is a multitude of nations.
This is Acts 3 verse 25.
There's 12 tribes in Israel. Cite that again.
Acts 3 verse 25. Ye are the children of the prophets and of the covenant which God made with our fathers, saying unto Abraham, in thy seed, so all the kindreds of the earth be blessed.
17, so I can read 18.
Read that again. Slide.
Ye are the children of the prophets and of the covenant which God
Acts. Good.
and of the covenant which God made with our fathers. He's talking to Israel, saying unto Abraham, in thy seed shall all the kindreds of the earth be blessed.
All the kindreds of the earth be blessed. And one of the blessings is what? For them to know about the Lord and be delivered and to inherit the other nations as slaves. The scripture just said, you shall possess the gate of the enemy.
That's one of the blessings.
Yeah, God. How the other nations going to have themselves in slavery? That doesn't make sense.
And that's wicked according to the Bible to put your own people in slavery.
Bondage, yeah, hardcore bondage, yeah.
It's real quick, back in Genesis 22:17, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed.
Those are the company of nations. Those are the Gentiles. Only thing that he can produce are the Israelites, save Ishmael and Midian.
I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore, and thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies.
And that's the other nations in slavery. That's the other nations in slavery. That was a promise made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But
And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed.
so Israel is going to be blessed wherever they go, meaning that they can obtain salvation if they come back to following the commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua.
Because thou hast obeyed my voice, which is something the other nations can't do.
Exactly. So you have the right to return according to the promise. You're keeping the commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, not Yeshua. That's not the Lord's name.
God, slavery.
Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land.
So eventually the real Israelites are going to go back to the land. Go ahead.
It says at the top, God's merciful restoration of Israel.
Okay.
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
Yeah, so if you saying those strangers are heathens, that means those so-called Jews in the land of Israel, they not keeping the commandments. Because the Arabs in that land and they pushing the Arabs out. So this is not talking about the other nations, strangers. Okay? It's talking about the multitude of nations that Israel was blessed to produce. Go ahead.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord.
Now, in the next verse, the them is referring to the actual Gentiles, the actual strangers that are not Israelites, okay? In the spirit or in the flesh. Read that again.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord.
Yeah, when you possess somebody, that means you own them, okay? I mean, you tell them what to do. You tell them when to get up, when to sleep, what they're supposed to eat, how much work they're supposed to do. Because we're the Most High's slaves. And the Lord does all that for us. He tells us when to get up, when to go to sleep, what to say, what to eat, what not to eat. And what's his name, what's not his name.
And the Lord in the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord, for servants and handmaids.
Yeah, it said the house of Israel is going to possess them in the land of the Lord. Okay? So the kingdom of heaven is going to be slaves in the kingdom of heaven. The other nations are going to be the Israelite slaves. Alright? But they're not going to read that in the church. That'll probably somehow transform into type of love.
That sounds
Type of love doctrine. Or forgiving your brother doctrine, something like that. That's how niggas in the church behave.
Yeah.
They don't behave according to the prophecies. the true spirit that's in the Bible. They behave according to what fits them, what they learn from the devil in slavery. To love your brother as yourself, but yet you kicking our ass. We working out in the field all day, from sun up to sundown. But you're supposed to love your brother. That's how much of a hypocrite this damn devil is.
For servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
So it's prophesying right there that the other nations we're going to have Israel in slavery. Okay? The other nations are going to have Israel in slavery.
Obadiah verse 15.
So Israel's going to take them captives, whose captives they were. So they were under slavery under Moab and Ammon. That means Ammon's going to be under slavery under Israel.
Obadiah verse 15.
Edom, he's the number one slave. Edom's a so-called white man. He's cursed of the Most High. Most cursed above all nations. Where no forgiveness, no plea can be put up to forgive Esau.
So judgment without mercy.
Judgment without mercy.
For the day of the Lord,
the other nations are going to attain mercy after 1,000 years of hardcore slavery. But Esau, the so-called white man, is not going to be burnt up, and his spirit is going to be divided throughout the other nations. Go ahead.
Obadiah verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee.
Yeah, it said the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. So if you don't return, if you're an Israelite Gentile, if you don't return, you're going to be counted as a heathen. And if you're actually a heathen, if you're actually an Edomite, a so-called white man, if you're actually a Moabite, the so-called Chinese, the day of the Lord is against you. Meaning that you're going into slavery. You're going to be slaughtered by the chariots. You're going to be slaughtered by the angels. You're going to be slaughtered by the elect of Israel.
Yea, they shall drink and they shall swallow down.
Yeah, they said they shall drink. They didn't say they maybe or might. They said they shall drink. So judgment is going to come on these other nations. They're going into slavery and they're going to be slaughtered. That's the truth. Thus saith Yahweh Shemal Shah.
And they shall be as though they had not been.
Yeah. Our kingdom is going to be so mighty, and we're going to be ruling in such majesty that it's going to be like they never even ruled. Those are abominable skyscrapers, concrete in the ground, the GMO foods. The Edomites, Moabites walking around free without chains.
Yeah, like this one right here. No, this bitch is
Moabite hang out with Edomites.
But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness in the house of Jacob.
Go back up a verse.
For as they have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down.
Yeah, so as the nations did to us, we're going to do the same thing to them. But the scriptures say double. Double unto them.
And they shall be as though they had not been.
Yeah.
But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance.
Yeah, Zion's another name for Israel. All 12 tribes. Get the 12 tribes. All right, zoom in.
But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall be. And there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions.
In the house of Jacob, read that again. The house of Israel.
And the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions.
And the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. So themselves, the gold, silver, all precious metal, and their land, that's all going to be reaped to build Israel up. They're going to bring with the forces of the Gentiles. They're going to bring all their substance to build the kingdom of heaven, which is us.
Like I said, this real quick. These elites are
and you women are going into slavery under us.
These elites are storing up all this gold, pretty much for us, because that gold is going to be used to help build up our land. All right, it's going to be ours.
Use to beautify our garments.
Yep.
Everything.
a couple precepts. This
precepts?
Yeah, he got one. Leviticus 25 and 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are around about you. Of them shall ye buy